right, I made it to Ledge Park. It's a beautiful 40 degrees here today, April 4th, 2024. Let's have some fun. Now that I've made it to the march, I have three main things I want to accomplish. First, I want to do some contemplation at the contemplation tree. Second, I want to revisit the old pet playground where I got stung in the back of the head by a bee. And three, I want to go and work out in the outdoors. Let's see how that goes. Once I got to Ledge Park, I realized that I had made a major oversight. The park was covered in snow. Apparently, I hadn't accounted for the early April snowfall that is so regular in Wisconsin. Apparently, the path was supposed to be right here. Now, if that wasn't obvious to you, it's alright. I had no clue where I was going either. Luckily, I found a map online that showed me right where I needed to go. First, the contemplation tree. A place where people go to find out the deepest meaning of their innermost thoughts. Next up, Bee Sting Playground, a place notorious for its slide stinging bees. And lastly, the Random Pull-Up Bars, a place where teenagers young and old would try to impress their crushes with how many pull-ups they could do. It was at this point that I found out my hardest challenge for the entire trip: going downhill. The snowfall had turned this unlevel landscape into a nearly unnavigable slosh of slightly melted snow. Just going down this stairway that had a handrail proved to be challenging. That bit right there was really sketchy, but here we go, on to the rest of the little bit. Now, I remember this being somewhat difficult even in the summer, so let's just see how good it is when everything is covered in snow. Alright, almost just ate it there. I got some tips from a friend that if you're going to be hiking on a slippery slope, whoa, that's bad. You want to make sure you're leaning back. That way you fall back and not forward. Let's see, how am I going to get around this mud? I slid so much when I got in that. But eventually, I made it to the contemplation tree. We've made it. There it is. There's the contemplation tree. I can't wait to have some good contemplations. And contemplations I had. What is a person? Are we just sacks of meat that can think? Why is a donut hole called a hole, if by definition of the word hole, it isn't a hole? Why is a duffel bag called a duffel bag? Why do we call a shotgun a shotgun? That's like calling a car a drive car, or a lamp a light lamp. Who was the first person to milk a cow? Even worse, who was the second person? How did they figure out that there's 24 hours in a day? Why isn't there a metric unit for measuring time? Why does the United States use the imperial measuring system for most things, but for soda we use the metric? Why did I choose to film on the coldest day of April? Why didn't I wear warmer pants? I have now successfully contemplated at the contemplation tree. And now it's time to move on to go work out in the snow. Ooh, it's goopy. But before I go and work out in the snow, I'm going to take an old visit to my old friend, the playground, where a bee stung me on my freshman year in high school. Freshman year of high school, brand new to my high school. Every year we have this thing called Crusader Kickoff. It's basically like the first week of school. It's to make people get friends and, just a little bit of an icebreaker week. And so we went here to Ledge Park. So what we did, we had the scavenger hunt where there was a bunch of different things on a list, and we had to go all around the park and try to complete the things. One of the things was to go down the red slide. And so my group made it to the red slide. And as I went down the slide, a bee stung me right in the back of the head. Not a great way to start your high school career. Just jumped a creek. Where is it? There he is. At this point, I had successfully accomplished 2 out of the 3 things that I wanted to do that day. There was just one thing left that I had to do, and that was work out in the snow. Now, the spots where I wanted to work out were actually quite far away from the other 2 things that I did that day. So, the trail was going to be pretty hard. At this point, you might be wondering, why do they call it Ledge Park? Well, it's because of these, the ledges. On the way to work out, I came across this boardwalk with an actually pretty decent view for the middle of Wisconsin. They call it the boardwalk, but this trip has been anything but uneventful. Now, why did I say that? That wasn't even funny, man. This place rocks.
Round 1. Round 2.
Finally, I had one last thing that I needed to do, and that was do a pull-up on the pull-up bar. At this point, I've completed all 3 things that I set out to do today. So let's head back to Toby and go on home. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, feel free to drop a like, and if you really liked it, then feel free to subscribe. I don't think I'm going to be posting that much on this channel, but I might, and you would want to be there when it drops. That's all I got for today. See you next time.